To the Blessed One, the Lord, who fully attained perfect enlightenment, to the teaching which he expounded so well, and to the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, to these the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, we render with offerings our rightful homage. It is well for us that the Blessed One, having attained liberation, still had compassion for later generations. May these simple offerings be accepted for our long-lasting benefit and for the happiness it gives us. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and Blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Now let us pay preliminary homage to the Buddha. Homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One. So, page 46. Now let us chant the verses on the highest blessings. Thus have I heard that the Blessed One was staying at Savatthi, residing at the Chithurst Grove, in Atapindika's park. Then in the dark of the night, a radiant Deva illuminated old Chithurst Grove. She bowed down low before the Blessed One. Then standing to one side she said, Devas are concerned for happiness and ever long for peace. The same is true for humankind. What then are the highest blessings? Avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honouring those worthy of honour. These are the highest blessings. Living in places of suitable kinds, with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the highest blessings. Accomplished in learning and craftsman skills, with discipline highly trained, and speech that is true and pleasant to hear. These are the highest blessings. Providing for mother and father support, and cherishing family, and ways of work that harm no being. These are the highest blessings. Generosity and a righteous life, offering help to relatives and kin, and acting in ways that leave no blame. These are the highest blessings. Steadfast in restraint, and shunning evil ways, avoiding intoxicants that dull the mind, and needfulness in all things that arise. These are the highest blessings. Respectfulness and being of humble ways, contentment and gratitude, and hearing the Dhamma frequently taught. These are the highest blessings. Patience and willingness to accept one's faults, seeing venerated seekers of the truth, and sharing often the words of Dhamma. These are the highest blessings. Ardent, committed to the holy life, seeing for oneself the noble truths, and the realization of Nibbana. These are the highest blessings. Although in contact with the world, unshaken the mind remains, beyond all sorrows, spotless, secure. These are the highest blessings. They who live by following this path know victory wherever they go, and every place for them is safe. These are the highest blessings. So coming together to practice meditation on Easter Sunday. So Easter eggs, a sense of things breaking out in nature, things are coming into being, the springtime. So today, people working around the gardens, and maybe many people's houses working the gardens now, when it being springtime. So taking the weeds out, that may inhibit the sort of beauty of the garden manifesting. In the same way we can say also in terms of the mind. The mind also has its weeds. That, yes, if we let them grow, they hinder, say, the beauty of the mind. Inhibit the quality of peace, well-being. In the way the Buddha taught, the weeds of the mind are sense desire, aversion, doubt, restlessness and worry, and sloth and torpor. So these are things that the Buddha encourages to be mindful of, and learn the skill of removing the weeds of the mind. Then inhibit the beauty of the mind, the sense of peace, clarity, wisdom. A slight difference in terms of the practice of weeding the mind and weeding the garden. In terms of, in the garden you just pull the weeds out, but with the mind we can't just pull things out. But just like another way of removing weeds would be to not give them any nutriment. If you didn't give them any nutriment, they would naturally just wither and die. So this is more, from what I would say is the practice of meditation. It's not giving nutriment to the weeds of the mind, not giving nutriment to sense desire, aversion, doubt, restlessness and worry, and sloth and torpor. So the question is, how do we give nutriment to these weeds in the mind? Because if we understand this, then maybe we can stop giving nutriment to these weeds of the mind and allow them to wither and die. So just reflecting, what gives nutriment to sense desire. Of course, it's the following of sensual thoughts, isn't it? what gives nutriment to aversion is following negative thoughts, doubtful thoughts, or thoughts of restlessness and worry, or just falling asleep. So, the practice of meditation or awareness is to be more awareness to how we do give nutriment to these hindrances or weeds of the mind. And how to steer ourselves away from that. One thing to reflect on things like especially sense desire and aversion and restlessness and worry is thinking often in terms of time, isn't it? Remembering some sensual experience or thinking ahead of some sensual experience we're going to have. Remembering something negative that happened in the past, bringing up thoughts of aversion. Worries, anxieties about the future. The restless mind that can't stay in the present moment and is planning, thinking about this, thinking about that. So, getting too preoccupied with thoughts about time is a way we tend to, keep these hindrances going. And the natural antidote for that is how to stay more in the present moment. How can we stay more experiencing the present moment in a way that we're not giving nutriment to these hindrances? Actually, the theory is not particularly complicated, but maybe not so easy to do. Because a practice that what can keep us in the present moment, is being mindful of the body. If we're aware of the body, to what extent we're aware of the body, to that extent, our awareness is in the present moment. To what extent we're mindful of the body, to that extent we're not following those thoughts that keep the hindrances going. So this is why the Buddha taught the first thing to establish our mindfulness on is the physical body. Because it grounds us in the present moment. And one of the practices of being mindful of the body is being mindful of the in and out breath. Which is, again, easy in theory, but not so easy to do. Because we tend to give power to the thinking mind. So now, maybe we have to give more power to mindfulness of the body, to change the energy, to calm things. Mindfulness of breathing has benefits not just on the quality of mind, but also physical benefits too. Mindful breathing. however we experience the breath, what I found very helpful is actually breathing into the whole body. Now, some people might practice, watching the breath at the tip of the nose. But what I've found particularly useful is actually following the breath right into the physical body. The sensations at the tip of the nose, the movements of the chest and the abdomen, tuning in with their bodily energies. And how mindful breathing can help to calm those energies. Of course, the energies we feel in the body are also related to the mind. Especially sensations we may experience at the heart, in the abdomen, in the throat, can be a physical manifestation of the mind state, related to the mind state. So this is how we can be more aware of the mind states, by being mindful of the body, maintaining our awareness in the present moment, noticing the energies in the body, become more aware of the mind. Now, naturally, we'll go off to thinking about something, but just when we recognize the mind's already coming back to the breath, coming back to the body, coming back to the present moment, giving more power to this quality of present moment awareness. Now, this is not easy to do, but it takes patience. But also not being too willful, not gritting your teeth, trying to stay with the breath, but just appreciating the breath, giving us life, giving us vitality, feeling the breath, feeling the whole body, relaxing, letting go of the out-breath. So a peaceful effort to stay present. And in fact, trying to maintain this present moment awareness makes us more aware of our thoughts, where our thoughts are going. Being more aware of the underlying mind state behind the thoughts. So naturally become aware of the mind. And the more we develop this skill, then we're not feeding the weeds, we're not giving nutriment to the weeds, and they begin to wither, to fade out. Leaving potentially a calm, clear quality of mind and well-being. So knowing what are the weeds and what are not the weeds. So knowing what trains of thought feeds the weeds and what thoughts don't. Because we can use thoughts skillfully, wisely. So just like with the breath, we can use thinking with the breath, a skillful thought with the breath. For example, as we breathe in, breathing with a thought, breathing in peace. Breathing out with a thought, breathing out peace. So this is just encouraging ourselves to cultivate this more peaceful awareness in the present moment. Or we could use a theme like loving kindness. Breathing with a thought, may I be well. Breathing out with a thought, may all beings be well. So we can use thought in a skillful way with our meditation that supports the growth of wholesomeness. So it's nice to have a beautiful garden with all the weeds removed. Yeah, but maybe what is more important is to have a beautiful mind and take time to look after the mind and heart and cut off the nourishment to those weeds and have a peaceful, wise quality of mind and heart. So we'll finish with the chant on page 41, which reflections on universal well-being. Now let us chant the verses on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action and inherit its results. The future is born from such action, companion to such action, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be theirs. So we can finish with that closing homage. The Lord, the perfect the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.